Right when you are, Lori. All right, good morning, everyone. It's 11:15 on Wednesday, September 1st, 2021, for the weekly meeting of the Board of Estimate and Apportionment. Present are Mayor Rich David, Ron Lake, John Paddock, Lee Rogers, and Frank. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes from the Ena meeting held on August 25th, 2021.
Motion.
Motion Ken Frank.
Second.
Give that one to John Paddock. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That was close, though. New business. We have a budget amendment, an ordinance to amend the 2021 budget to allocate American Rescue Plan Act funds for improvements to the water filtration plant and sewer and water pump stations. Lee, this is City Council scheduled to vote on this tonight, correct? Okay. For all of these items, and we've discussed this at length before. This is a $4+ million project to make some much needed investments and improvement in the water filtration plant, which is located on Broome Street on the south side of the city of Binghamton, not to be confused with the Binghamton Johnson City Joint Sewage Treatment Plant, which is located in the town of Vestal, outside of the city of Binghamton. Those are two separate facilities. This is a project, as we've discussed in the past, to address pumps, screens, the overall filtration equipment, and obviously one of the top priorities for the city is to ensure the continuation of the highest quality of safe drinking water. These improvements are much needed and consist of the bulk and major work that is needed for this facility to go another 2 decades. I happen to have been working at the city in 2000 when I believe it was a $12 million rehabilitation project took place 20 years ago. 20 years was the approximate lifespan. So this is an important project. I'm glad to see it's finally moving forward. It is very clearly spelled out in the American Rescue Plan Act that water and sewer is one of the specific items outlined for use and encouragement to spend these funds. Just a reminder that the federal government requires that these funds be spent by December 31st, 2024. These funds are not designed to sit in bank accounts and to accumulate over the course of time. The federal government authorizes you the money to spend, and if it's not spent during that period of time, it is recouped and reallocated to other communities for that particular purpose. I'm glad to see that this project is moving forward. It has my full support. With that, if anybody has any questions or discussion, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion Ken Frank.
Second.
Second John Paddock. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next budget amendment, an ordinance to amend the 2021 budget to use the fund balance to purchase equipment for police and DPW. On this, I just want to reiterate, this is not funds from the American Rescue Plan Act. These are funds from our general purpose fund balance, much needed vehicles in public works, including garbage trucks and other important vehicles to update our aging fleet. I think the city has done a very good job under Commissioner Paddock's leadership of making proactive investments in our fleet to continue to offer the highest level of service and expand the capacity and multi-purpose use of these vehicles. Those garbage trucks will be equipped with plow attachments to again allow the city to expand the number of vehicles that will be in service during times of snow emergency without having to buy separate snowplow vehicles. And of course, there are several outlines. There are several vehicles within the police department as well, a van, marked and unmarked vehicles as well, replacing vehicles in the police department. So These are positive investments. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion Ken Frank,
Second.
second John Paddock. All in favor?
Aye.
Uh, Budget amendment and ordinance to amend the 2021 budget to use the fund balance to reduce debt cost associated with the new community and park improvement at Columbus Park. Let's look at this. A second. Is this, let's see, now Chuck is not here. I thought this was the ARPA funds. Let me look at this here. Depending on the legislation, I believe it's the resolution to use fund balance to reduce the debt. 1.1 CV remaining from long-term debt. Oh, I'm sorry. So yes, that is correct. This is I have misspoke on that. So that is correct. This is an ordinance to amend the 2021 budget to use fund balance to reduce debt costs associated with the new community center and park improvements at Columbus Park. We've talked at length about the need for a youth and community center at Columbus Park. City Council will be voting on this tonight. I believe 2 work sessions ago, the representative from Clark Patterson Lee, Dave Chase, came down, gave council an update with renderings on this project. So this is the next step. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Budget amendment and ordinance to amend the 2021 budget to allocate American Rescue Plan Act funds for broadband improvements with the Southern Tier Network. On this, I will just point out that broadband, as I indicated for a water and sewer, broadband is another very specific category that is outlined in the Treasury Department guidance and guidelines for use for the ARPA funds. And I suppose I should also mention that one of the reasons that specific categories were outlined in the Treasury guidance is because the federal government recognizes that there are certain categories of investment that many municipalities are not able to fund exclusively on their own. Broadband is extremely expensive. Water and sewer is extremely expensive. The federal government realizes that many municipalities typically have to borrow money in order to make these sorts of investments, which is why they specifically outline and encourage investments in this area. We've been working with the Southern Tier Network for a significant period of time on building on the back of the broadband infrastructure that's been put in place already. There are several private companies that have also expressed an interest in expanding into the city of Binghamton. The way that we look at this, our approach is one that is multifaceted in the sense that it is important that every area of the city, regardless of their financial capacity, should have access to broadband. And there are, from an economic development standpoint, there are strategic locations in the city that we want to get broadband closer to make those sites more competitive from an economic development standpoint. We talk a lot about infrastructure. I would compare broadband to the digital infrastructure of the future. And as our economy continues to shift more towards technology-based, this sort of digital infrastructure is critical to making locations and municipalities competitive as companies look for the best place to locate or expand their businesses. I would refer to Scott Tech on Upper Court Street on the east side is the latest example of a company that would not be in Binghamton had it not been for the close access and proximity to broadband. And that is a great manufacturing company on the east side of the city. So we're very pleased to see this move forward. We're hopeful that additional significant investments in broadband are continuing to be made in the city in the future. We have a motion.
Motion.
Ken Frank.
Second.
John Paddock. All in favor? Aye. Ordinance to amend the 2021 budget to allocate American Rescue Plan Act funds for affordable housing. This falls into the category of the previous amendments that I just outlined. Affordable housing is something that is very specifically allocated and outlined in the Treasury guidance for use for the American Rescue Plan Act funds. City of Binghamton has made a commitment for $6 million out of the total allocation of $46 million for affordable housing. And this is the first portion of that $6 million. Two projects, opportunities for Broome and First Ward Action Council have already received funding as a portion of that affordable housing allocation. We'll continue to work with the public and city council to identify the best programs and projects to expend the remaining funds as well. Affordable housing is something that this administration has focused on since day one in January of 2014. And we have several projects that have already come to fruition for homeless housing, whether it's homeless housing for vets, homeless housing for individuals in general, and low income and workforce housing as well. Projects that have already been complete and are full with a waiting list, but there certainly continues to be a shortage of safe, quality, affordable housing. We'll continue to allocate resources and work with the experts and leaders of multiple local nonprofit organizations that we've partnered with for years that have background and track records on making these sorts of projects a reality. We have a motion. Motion Ken Frank,
Second.
second John Paddock. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Budget amendment, an ordinance to amend the 2021 DPW budget for additional funds for vehicle repairs and parts. Commissioner?
Yeah, this is the transfer money. It's a kind of a twofold. It's PM for snow removal equipment. It's also much needed parts daily for the operations of our septic sanitation, those type of things. Plus the costs are starting to go up. Some of these prices in the next couple of things. So these are all necessary. I will just sit tight to
Okay, very good. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Ken Frank,
Second.
second John Paddock. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Budget amendment and ordinance to amend the 2021 finance budget for personal service and temporary services. I have talked to the controller about this. In essence, he's shifting some responsibilities around among two positions and paying them equally. I think it's a good idea. I think it's part of a transition for the next administration to ensure that you have multiple individuals who are able to provide the same level of critical payroll and other financial administration funds on a daily basis. So that we don't find, the next administration doesn't find themselves confronted with the challenges that we were confronted with.
Does this also provide some overlap for training? That part of it as well?
It does.
Okay.
It does. So the attached documentation is outlined. It's a transfer of just under $34,000. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Ken Frank, second Ron Lake, all in favor? Aye. Are there any add-ons? That's it. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Ken Frank,
Second.
Ron Lake, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.